Godzilla through the years, every version ranked. Hey there, fellow monster fans. T-Rex ever wondered how a charcoal black, city-stomping reptile from 1954 became the global icon we know today? Well, buckle up, because we're taking a deep dive into the big guy's evolution. From his humble beginnings to his latest battles, we're ranking every major version of Godzilla, from the not-so-great to the downright legendary. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and let's see which Godzilla reigns supreme. And hey, don't forget to share your own rankings in the comments below. Let's get the debate rolling. Alright, before we jump into the rankings, let's chat about how we're sizing up these titanic beasts. First off, we've got design and appearance, because let's face it, looks do matter, especially when you're a giant radioactive lizard. Then there's the film impact. We're talking box office numbers, critical acclaim, the whole shebang. Character development is next. Was Godzilla a menacing villain, a misunderstood hero, or somewhere in between? And finally, cultural significance. How did each version leave its mark on audiences around the world? Sound good? Number 10. Zilla, 1998. Starting off our list at number 10, we've got, drumroll please, Zilla from the 1998 American film, Godzilla. Clapperboard now, I know some of you might be cringing already. This version took a huge departure from the classic design. We're talking a sleek, iguana-like creature that, let's be honest, felt more like a generic sea monster than the king of the monsters we know and love. Critics and fans weren't exactly thrilled. Sure, it had some big action sequences, but without that authentic Godzilla feel, it just didn't hit the mark. Sorry, Zilla, you've been dethroned. Number 9. TriStar Godzilla Animated Series, 1998 to 2000. Swinging in at number 9 is the TriStar Godzilla from the animated series that followed the 98 movie. Now, this one's a bit of a redemption story. Lizard the series tweaked the creature's design and gave us a Godzilla that actually breathed atomic breath, finally. It was definitely a step up from the movie, and fans appreciated the closer alignment with the original character. But even with the improvements, it still lacked some of that classic Godzilla gravitas we all crave. Number 8. Godzilla Phileas and Godzilla Earth, 2017-2018. At number 8, we're venturing into anime territory with Godzilla Phileas and Godzilla Earth from the Netflix trilogy. These are the biggest Godzillas ever, like, literally the size of mountains. The concept was super ambitious, imagining Godzilla as an ancient, dominant life form taking over Earth. Sounds epic, right? But the execution was, well, a mixed bag. The pacing was slow, with a lot of heavy exposition and not enough monster mayhem. It had its moments, but it didn't quite satisfy the kaiju cravings. Number 7. Showa-era Godzilla, 1954 to 1975. Coming in at number 7 is the Og himself, the Showa-era Godzilla from the first 15 films. Black Heart. This is where it all began. The 1954 original was a haunting allegory for nuclear devastation, and it's an absolute classic. Over time, though, Godzilla transitioned from a terrifying force of nature to a kind of goofy hero, even doing the infamous tail slide kick. Some of the later films got pretty campy, which is charming in its own way but can be a bit hit or miss depending on what you're into. Number 6. Millennium-era Godzilla, 1999 to 2004. Sliding into number 6, we've got the Millennium-era Godzilla. This series brought Godzilla back to his roots, a darker, more menacing creature with some updated visual effects. Movie camera. Each film was mostly standalone, which was cool because they experimented with different storylines. Godzilla 2000. Millennium kicked things off with a bang. The downside? The stories were kind of inconsistent. One film would be epic, and the next, not so much. Still, it was a solid era that gave us some memorable moments. Number 5. Legendary Pictures Godzilla, 2014 present. Halfway through at number 5 is the Legendary Pictures Godzilla, the American reboot done right. United States hands clapping starting with the 2014 film, followed by King of the Monsters in 2019 and Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021. This version brought some serious firepower. The CGI is phenomenal, and the sheer scale of Godzilla is awe-inspiring. They really captured his essence as a force of nature. Plus, those fight scenes? Epic. While some people felt the human characters were a bit undercooked, you can't deny that this Godzilla has made a massive impact. Number 4. Godzilla Ultima, 2021. At number 4, we have Godzilla Ultima from the anime series, Godzilla Singular Point. Test tube. This one's a fresh take that blends classic elements with some mind-bending science fiction. The design of Godzilla Ultima is unique. He looks both familiar and completely new at the same time. The series dives deep into theoretical physics and complex ideas, which is pretty cool if you're into that kind of thing. It brings a new layer of depth to the Godzilla lore and keeps you guessing. Number 3. Shin Godzilla, 2016. Landing the number 3 spot is Shin Godzilla, a radical reimagining by Hideaki Anno, the mastermind behind Neon Genesis Evangelion. Exploding head. This Godzilla is downright terrifying. He evolves throughout the film, starting as this creepy, almost helpless creature and transforming into a massive, destructive force. The movie is a sharp political satire, critiquing government bureaucracy and disaster response, very fitting, considering Japan's recent history. It's intense, it's thought-provoking, and it's a must-watch. Number 2. Heisei-era Godzilla, 1984 to 1995. Runner-up at number 2 is the Heisei-era Godzilla. This series picked up where the 1954 original left off, ignoring the sequels and bringing Godzilla back as an unstoppable force. Collision. The continuity between films was tight, creating a cohesive storyline that developed both Godzilla and his adversaries. We got to see epic battles with foes like Biollante, King Ghidorah, and Mechagodzilla. The stakes were higher, the special effects improved, and there was a real emotional depth, especially in Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. It's a fan favorite for a reason. Number 1. Original Godzilla, 1954. And finally, claiming the throne at number 1 is none other than the original Godzilla from 1954. Trophy. This is where it all began. The film that introduced us to the king of the monsters. Created as a metaphor for the horrors of nuclear warfare, it's a powerful, haunting movie that transcends the monster genre. The suit may look dated now, but the emotion and gravitas are timeless. Without this film, we wouldn't have the rich legacy that followed. It's the ultimate classic, and it absolutely deserves the top spot. Honorable mentions. Before we wrap things up, I've got to give a shout out to a few versions that didn't quite make the top 10 but are definitely worth mentioning. Godzillasaurus, 1991. Remember, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. We got to see Godzilla before he became, well, Godzilla. Sauropod. This was a neat exploration of his origins and added a new layer to his backstory. Kiryu Saga Godzilla, 2002-2003. In Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and its sequel, we saw humanity grappling with the consequences of their actions, as they used the original Godzilla's bones to create Mechagodzilla, aka Kiryu. It's deep stuff and adds emotional weight. Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, 1978-1979. Who could forget the animated series that brought Godzilla to Saturday morning cartoons? TV. It even introduced Godzuki, Godzilla's much smaller and cuter relative. Sure, it was cheesy, but it opened up Godzilla to a whole new audience. And there you have it, folks. The many faces of Godzilla ranked from 10 to 1. It's been a wild ride through nuclear nightmares, campy heroics, and city-smashing showdowns. The evolution of a legend. It's amazing to see how Godzilla has evolved over the years, isn't it? He's not just a giant monster. He's a reflection of our fears, our hopes, and our fascination with forces beyond our control. Whether he's a villain, a hero, or something in between, Godzilla continues to capture our imaginations. Personal reflection. Personally, I've got a soft spot for the Heisei-era Godzilla. There's something about that series that just hits all the right notes for me, the continuity, the epic battles, the emotional stakes. But hey, that's just me. So, what do you think? Do you agree with the rankings? Or did your favorite Godzilla not get the spotlight it deserves? Drop your own rankings in the comments below. I can't wait to see what you all think. And if you enjoyed this trip down Kaiju Lane, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you won't miss any future monster-sized content. Bell thumbs up. Thanks a million for sticking around till the end. Your support means the world to me, and I love sharing these monster musings with all of you. Shout outs. Big shout out to everyone who's been part of the journey. Whether you've been here since the beginning or just joined the crew, you're all awesome. Special thanks to the amazing artists and filmmakers who've kept Godzilla's legacy alive. And guess what? There's plenty more where this came from. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll be diving into the world of Godzilla's most formidable foes. You won't want to miss it. Eyes.